Well, Islamabad United rising to the occasion. It was pretty simple for them that they had to win this. It was a must-win game. And a crunch situation, you saw Martin Guptill come in instead of Colin Munro, making all those runs, 56 in 47. 174 for 9 is what Islamabad United made. Salman Agha also with that 31. Shadab and Hales chipping in. In response, Quetta Gladiators, well, not quite there, lost too many early wickets. And there were some fine bowling performances by Islamabad United as well. 39 runs was the margin of victory. Welcome to Pitside and another fascinating contest in terms of Islamabad United really dominating things. No surprise there because they seem to be the team in form at this point of time. Everything went right for them in terms of their batting, even the changes that they made and then the leadership by Shadab Khan. There's plenty to talk about today on Pitside. I've been joined by Agha Salman, who was contributing really well towards Islamabad United, and Bazid Khan. Agha, पहले तो बहुत-बहुत मुबारक हो. आज का मैच एक जिसे कहते हैं ना मस्ट विन मैच था, क्योंकि अगर हार जाते तो then you'd be out of the competition. But the fact कि everybody was sort of on it, एक होता है ना कि टीम नज़र आता है कि फील्ड में भी बैटिंग में भी, तो पहले फील्ड लेने से पहले क्या डिस्कशन हुई, पूरी एक जो पेप टॉक होती है हडल में, क्या डिस्कस किया?
डिस्कशन यही थी कि ये मैचेस मतलब ऐसे मैचेस हैं जिसके लिए इंसान मतलब सारी जो पिछले टूर्नामेंट में मेहनत की है वो आज मतलब क्रंच मोमेंट थी और वही टाइम था कि जो सारी पिछले हमने मेहनत की है वो आगे रंग लानी थी. तो हमने कोशिश की कि जितना मतलब पॉजिटिव रह सकें और इसको नॉर्मल मैच लें और उसके साथ खेलें. अरहान से सब ने मतलब चिप इन किया बैटिंग बॉलिंग में भी और एक मतलब क्लिनिकल विक्ट्री है.
Your innings then, I mean, you were talking about the conditions and how you found them to be slightly tricky. तो क्या चीज़ आपको लगा कि बहुत बैटिंग फ्रेंडली तो नहीं लगी थी, आपको क्या लगा?
मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि आज मतलब पिच पहले से बेहतर था और मैं सच बताऊं तो मुझे मतलब अभी तक उतना मतलब सही समझ नहीं आया पाया विकेट कैसा है. तो बीच में मुझे समटाइम मैं बैटिंग कर रहे तो ऐसा लगता है कि बहुत अच्छा विकेट है और सडनली एक ऐसा बॉल होता है जो स्लो होता है या किक कर जाता है तो आप समझते हो कि नहीं ये टू पेस है. तो मुझे मतलब खास समझ नहीं आ सका विकेट का, लेकिन मैं कोशिश कर रहा था कि मतलब थ्रू द लाइन खेलता जाऊँ और मेरे ख्याल से शायद उसलिए कामयाबी मिली है.
बाज़ इनको समझ नहीं आई पिच कैसा था, लेकिन इन्होंने रन्स फिर भी स्कोर कर लिए, तो मेरा ख्याल है कुछ ना कुछ तो समझ आई गई होगी.
अच्छी बात है, समझ ना ही आए तो बेहतर रहे. लेकिन इस्लामाबाद यूनाइटेड सवाल आपको पता है कि जब भी व्हेनेवर दे विन द टॉस दे बॉल फर्स्ट. आज क्या ऐसी बात थी कि बैटिंग कर ली?
आज मतलब कराची में देखा था डेटा जैसे हम कहते हैं देखते हैं वो यही था कि कोशिश यही हो कि मतलब यहाँ पर चेज़ मुश्किल हो रहा है.
लेकिन
मतलब
चेस तो सारी टीमें चेस भी जीत रही हैं.
पता नहीं शायद हमारा डेटा लेकिन कोई ऐसा मतलब आई डोंट नो ऐसी कोई मतलब प्लानिंग नहीं थी कि जाकर मतलब पहले बैटिंग करेंगे या चेज़ ही करना है. हम देखते हैं पिचेस को, हमें ऐसा लगा था, मेरे ख्याल से मेरी शदाब से बात हुई थी, वो कह रहा था कि मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि बाद में विकेट थोड़ा सा टिकी हो सकता है, तो इसलिए शायद पहले बैटिंग की थी.
और आपका जिस तरह आप आते हैं वन ड्रॉप पे आप आते हैं, स्पेशली कराची वो पिंडी वाली पिचेस नहीं है जहाँ पे तेज़ रन हों, तो शायद आपका थोड़ा रोल इधर चेंज है या उस पर भी कोई बात होती है?
मेरा रोल यही है अभी टीम में कि मुझे मतलब थोड़ा एंड तक जाना है, मतलब कोशिश करनी है कि मैं मेरे साथ बैट्समैन बैटिंग करते रहें और मैं मतलब 17-18 ओवर तक जाऊं और मतलब स्ट्राइक रेट ये हो कि मेरा मतलब ऑलमोस्ट मतलब 120-130 का हो. लेकिन अभी अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह फॉर्म अच्छी लगी है तो स्ट्राइक रेट मतलब 140-45 का रहता ही है. तो मतलब वो रखा तो मुझे एंकर था, लेकिन अभी तक मैंने ऐसा कोई एंकर वाला काम किया नहीं है.
और स्पिनर्स बहुत अच्छी तरह बॉलिंग करते हैं, आज आपको बॉलिंग ही नहीं कर रही है.
बॉलिंग
जरूरत नहीं पड़ी.
ये बॉलिंग मेरा अभी उंगली में भी मसला है, तो वो जब मुझे हसन अली का बॉल लगा था पिंडी में तो अभी बॉलिंग के लिए अभी मतलब उतना फिट भी नहीं हूँ, तो कोशिश यही होती है कि ना ही आए क्योंकि अभी मतलब नाखून उतना फिट नहीं है.
अच्छा, तो ये जो जिस तरह बाज़िद ने मेंशन किया इस नंबर पे ये वन डाउन आना, आपको ये पोजीशन अच्छी लगती है? लाइक इन द सेंस इज इट समथिंग दैट यू एंजॉय इन टर्म्स ऑफ जो मैच सिचुएशन के मुताबिक? क्योंकि आगे ऑब्वियसली पाकिस्तान का वर्ल्ड कप भी आ रहा है, हम भी ढूंढ रहे हैं, हम भी अपने नंबर्स जो है फॉर्म कर रहे हैं कि कौन कहाँ बैटिंग करेगी. व्हाट डू यू प्रेफर फॉर योरसेल्फ?
मतलब मैं काफ़ी फ्लेक्सिबल हूँ, मैं पाकिस्तानी टीम से मतलब 6-7 बैटिंग करता हूँ, यहाँ पे नंबर 3. लेकिन मुझे मतलब नंबर से ज़्यादा मसला नहीं होता. मैं कोशिश करता हूँ कि जो अकॉर्डिंग टू सिचुएशन है उससे खेलूँ और मुझे नंबर से मतलब ज़्यादा मसला नहीं. अगर मुझे 4-5 पे भी खेलने का कहा जाए इस्लामाबाद में या पाकिस्तानी टीम में भी, तो आई एम वेरी फ्लेक्सिबल, मैं खेल सकता हूँ वहाँ पर.
स्पिनर्स को ज़्यादा इन्जॉय करते हैं खेलना या पेसर्स को?
यार मैं मतलब अभी बार बार एक इंटरव्यू में बोलता हूँ, मैं अभी मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि मैं स्पिनर पे उतना डोमिनेट नहीं रहा. मतलब फास्ट बॉलर की इतनी प्रैक्टिस कर ली है, अब मैं मैच में भी सोच रहा था यार फास्ट बॉलर ही आ जाए. मतलब था पहले मैं स्पिनर पे काफ़ी डोमिनेट, लेकिन अभी उतना रहा नहीं हूँ, मुझे ऐसा लगता है.
अच्छा, ये क्या क्या रीज़न है बाज़ित? क्यों आपको क्या लगता है कि ये क्यों नहीं रहे या क्या क्या कमी है यहाँ पे?
नहीं, ये तो खुद कह रहा है, हमें तो अभी तक लगता है
मैं वही कह रही हूँ कि मुझे
कि स्पिनर्स बहुत अच्छा खेलता है। आई थिंक जो 4-5 साल से एक इनका स्लोगन था ना कि दिमाग से, वो थोड़ा सा खो सा गया था, क्योंकि सारे एक ही तरीके से खेलते थे। अब बहुत हाई रिस्क ये है कि वंस यू प्लेइंग इन अ टूर्नामेंट, अगर सब एक ही तरीके से खेलें तो फिर अमूमन ये होता था कि इस स्टेज पे आके स्पेशली कोलैप्स हो जाता था। बट विद हिज इंट्रोडक्शन, पहले तो काफ़ी क्वेश्चन मार्क्स होते थे कि शायद सलमान की इंट्रोडक्शन उनके ब्रांड के मुताबिक नहीं है, बट वो ब्रांड को पॉलिश करने के लिए इंट्रोडक्शन बहुत ज़रूरी है। आई थिंक कि स्पेशली हेयर इन कराची, क्योंकि हाई स्कोरिंग गेम्स नहीं होंगे, और अभी अगला एक प्ले ऑफ इनका कल भी, अभी आज ही है बल्कि, वो भी है, तो उसमें भी ऐसे नहीं होगा कि डोमिनेट करके या मार के ही मैच जीत जाएँ, तो थोड़ा इनिंग बिल्ड करनी पड़ेगी।
ठीक है, समझ आ गई कि सारी जो है ऑब्वियसली जिस तरह वो कह रहे थे ना, एंकर रोल थोड़ा बहुत दिखाना पड़ेगा इन कंडीशंस के मुताबिक। बट चलें, जो भी आपका रोल है बहुत ही बेहतरीन अंदाज में आप निभा रहे हैं इस्लामाबाद यूनाइटेड के लिए। सो आई लाइक टू से थैंक यू टू यू फॉर जॉइनिंग
Thank you,
अस
thanks for having me.
on pitch side, and we hope that you can continue contributing the way you have been for Islamabad United with the bat and the ball and in the field. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
All right, you heard it there from Agha Salman, how he's comfortable batting at any number, and the fact that he's really enjoying his role out there, and he's hoping that they can continue this good form. Right now, where does Islamabad United stand after this win? What do they need to do to reach the final? Well, it's pretty simple now. They are going to be playing Peshawar Zalmi, and whoever wins will be meeting Multan Sultans in the final. Remember, this was Eliminator 1, and we will be obviously seeing you tomorrow, which is going to be an important game in the context of things. Islamabad United versus Peshawar Zalmi. Well, I've now been joined by Michael Clark on pitchside. Michael, just considering the way you look at Islamabad United's overall side, their bowling performance, just the way they started, it was magnificent. Naseem Shah, Imad Wasim, that start was crucial for them.
Yeah, look, they're a very strong team, but I think they become stronger on this surface. I think this pitch really suits their game. I think they got good fast bowling with the new ball and at the death. I think they got good spin through the middle, and I think we've seen what they can do with the bat. Obviously, as a part of that batting, that they would have liked to have gone on and made more runs, but look, I think they played really well. I think, I was going to say tomorrow, but tonight we're in for another great game.
Yeah, Imad Wasim as well, his utilization in the power play, Baz. I mean, he's a guy who's been used in different phases of the game, but it just almost seems that that's the part where he excels the most.
Yeah, they've tinkered around with him where he's going to bowl. Again, with him, with the new ball, any conditions in the world, he's very difficult to get away. And the wickets that he gets is because of the pressure that he builds with that new ball. He attacks the stumps to the right-hander and the left-hander, especially when the ball's drifting back in. He's very difficult to score off. And then the batter looks at some other avenue to score, and that pressure eventually brings him a wicket.
Absolutely. And even Naseem Shah, I mean, he's been sort of the leader of the pace attack when it comes to Islamabad United. He's been the one who's been leading from the front, really. You've got all these three Shah brothers who are all in the squad, and they're all so different and so talented.
Yeah, certainly are. Yeah, look, he bowled once again, really good. I think there's expectation that certainly on a surface like this, that new ball goes for a lot of runs. So I think you've got to be able to defend. And I think they, both opening bowlers certainly did that really well. They found a way to prevent runs and pick up wickets. Very hard combination, but I think it's still important. You're always looking to slow scoring. The best way to do that is take wickets.
What's also important for Islamabad United is that they got Martin Guptill in today instead of Colin Munro, and that decision definitely paid off. It was his first game of the HBL PSL. Colin Munro struggling with a hammy, and he comes in and plays an innings like this, Baz.
Yeah, and I think Islamabad United needed that. It's not a pitch where you can come in and dominate from the first ball, and he gave himself time. And once he gives himself time, then he becomes a very dangerous player. He might not have been at his fluent best, but this innings will probably help him tonight as well, because he'll go into the game against Peshawar Zalmi with runs behind him and form behind him. Remember, he got 100 on this very ground in very similar conditions when he played for Quetta. So it's a ground that he likes, and also the fact that because of the pitch being such that you can give yourself time and you have to give yourself up top, it actually works in his favor. It's not a pitch where you're thinking 220, 230 and you have to go for ball one. So he actually has a few more deliveries to play himself in.
Not really Quetta Gladiators' day then, you know, overall when you look at that, the way they played today, the way they batted, the way they bowled. I mean, there was a point in the game when you saw that Muhammad Amir spell and everybody thought, oh, they've pulled things back. But then they're batting, you know, you talk about that opening spot that they've got, and Riley, he's not been amongst the runs. So many things that are not working for them.
Yeah, I think their batting let them down. They won 1 out of the last 5, and you look through that, their numbers in those 5 innings, they haven't been great. I think it was one score over 160. So I think they'll look at their batting and probably blame that. They did do well to pull Islamabad back. But again, you just can't afford to lose that many wickets in the power play. I think you're finding it extremely hard to lose that many wickets early. And I think, again, their overseas players, their most senior players, and especially their captain, they'll feel that disappointment, unfortunately.
The overseas players are the ones, Baz, when you look at Quetta Gladiators, who haven't really done well for them. You know, you've got guys stepping up in other teams, but not so for Quetta Gladiators. Especially, I think, when you have a leader who's struggling, it kind of brings the whole team down.
Yeah, and Riley Russo normally is so good in HBL PSL. His overall record in HBL PSL as an overseas player is second to none. And for him to not make an impact on a tournament, it is very surprising. And you'll almost, even today, you're expecting him, because of the fact that every time he's played, he's got runs. Every season that he's played, he's got runs. You're almost expecting today, yes, today might be his moment, but it never arrived. So you can have that season, but once you're plucked as the captain and you're the leader of the group, then to have a season, well, it hits you even harder.
Also, when you have an option like Sherfane Rutherford sitting outside, you know, he's warming the bench. I mean,
Yeah,
this was a explain to us the reason behind this decision, Clarky, because he's done well in the HBL PSL.
I can't explain it, and thankfully I'm not playing or captaining, so I don't need to anymore. It's always hard. Unfortunately, you can only pick 11 players, so you feel the frustration on both sides. You go with your gut instinct. I think Quetta certainly wanted to play. They thought playing the same 11 to keep that consistency was more important. You win, you get praised. You lose, you get criticised. So yeah, it's a really tough one.
That's a true captain speaking, isn't it? Isn't it, Bad? That's a true captain speaking. But overall, when you sum up their journey, Baz, just in terms of what they've achieved, and they started off really well in the HBL PSL. Remember, there was a time they were doing really well. Real contenders at that point. Yeah,
well, they've got to the playoffs after 4 years, so that's a tick mark because there's an uptake in form. I just feel that they played one too many. They didn't have much option, so they'd play 5 bowlers every time, and they didn't have an all-rounder in between. So once like today, they were 5 down and the game was basically done because they'd not got any depth in the batting. So they'll have to probably look at that. Maybe next year look at that, and also look at their fast bowling. Do you actually need 3 spinners in every game? Do you need an out-and-out pacer up top? So a couple of things to work on. But the good thing is that they've at least made the playoffs. That's a step in the right direction.
That is a step in the right direction. They made so many changes in captaincy. Overall, it just seems like they are heading in the right direction. Overall, when you look at when you compare it to the past seasons that they've had, Quetta Gladiators, this has been much better for them. Right. The action does continue later tonight, not tomorrow. We'll be seeing you guys in a couple of hours. And it's the team in form, Islamabad United. They seem to be gaining momentum just at the right time. And they are up against Peshawar Zalmi. Remember, they lost their last game. This should be an interesting prospect when you look at both sides. There's a team that's on the rise, just won their game today. Not much time because they just come in after a few hours. And then there's Peshawar Zalmi. Remember, they lost their game. So it should be an interesting contest.
Yeah, well, I think Islamabad will take confidence from their performance tonight. There's no doubt about it. But Zalmi's got Bubba. Like, I know you can't put everything on one player, but his performances have been so good. He's in great form. come the big occasion, I just think he's going to be on tonight, and I think Islamabad are going to have to find a way to get him out early. If they do, doesn't mean the game's over and they've won, but they'll take so much confidence if they can find a way to get Bubba out, which is easier said than done.
Considering the conditions, Baz, what are your thoughts on this prospect?
I just think that the conditions level things up. Babar will like a pitch where you don't have to go too quickly, don't have to score 200, 180, 185, probably a winning score. And with the form that he is in, and the top order that they have, they want that top order to succeed. They only have the problem with the bowling. Now, they probably tinker with the bowling a little, where to bowl their bowlers and when. They probably need a new ball bowler. They don't want Mehran Mumtaz to actually bowl in the power play. Pindi was different conditions, remember. It's easier now bowling after the power play for the spinners. So maybe he'll tinker with that. But because of the fact that it's not a ground where you think 220, if it was a 220 ground, you'd almost lean straight away to United with their batting depth. 180, 170, that sort of caters a little bit to Peshawar Zalmi, the way that they structure the innings, the way that they progress there. But it'll be fascinating how that top order battles up with United.
Quick pick. Let's just keep it simple. Islamabad or...
I'll go very early, super over.
Super over. That's what we are missing. What about you?
And who's winning in the super over?
That I'll tell you tomorrow.
All right, you heard it from these boys. They're obviously making lots of predictions. We'll be seeing you guys later on today. Like I said, it should be a fascinating contest. Islamabad United taking on Peshawar Zalmi.